what do you think about men that are traveling abroad and some of them are actually getting married first in Nigeria, in Africa, whatever, doesn't really matter. They get married first and then they travel outside, to a country, to a foreign country that they have never been to before. And sometimes they spend years before they can even come back. Do you think that is a wise idea to do as a man? Or do you think it's best for the man to just not get married, don't promise anyone, any woman that you'll be back, and maybe just go over there and maybe get married or have relationships with people in the other side abroad? What do you think that is best for an African man to do?
Well, this question is very hard question. First of all, because I would say that individual preference comes in play.
Mm-hmm.
But from my personal experience, I would say that both sides is good. Depends on the age of the man, because you don't expect somebody that's a young person just to get married because he's traveling abroad. Maybe. Sometimes it's good. I have friends. When I travel, I was pretty young when I travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I have friends that we did school together, and they have a serious girlfriend that they started from secondary school up to university. It was like even before the guy wanted to travel, the family, this kind of girlfriend and boyfriend, the family knows that you're dating, and this, it's already
It's promising.
it's promising. So before the guy wanted to travel, and it's the only son, so the family arranged the marriage and they did marry. So, but when he came to Germany, he saw all those Oyibo, small Oyibo, fine with blonde,
Lips.
with blonde hair,
Blue eyes.
blue eyes.
Wow.
The reason why is because he's not matured enough to get married that time. He lost it, and he called his people. He said, "Man, you see that marriage?
I don't want to
I'm
do
out.
no more."
I'm out. I don't want to do no more."
He really did?
Yeah, he did it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. The reason why he did it is because, and I don't blame him that he did. You cannot just get married. If it's my sister, I wouldn't even allow that to happen. You cannot just get married to my sister and travel abroad that you don't know when you're coming back. You might spend 10 years before you even get papers.
That's why I said it depends on how you're going. Are you going as like, I don't know what is going to happen? Or you going with like, oh, I'm going with a student visa. This is the type of course I'm going to do, right? For example, IT. I know that I'm going to get a job. I know that I'm going to have papers, and then you're going to come. That's maybe 5 years. Between that 5 years, I'm going to be coming and going. A plan that has worked.
One thing about life is that sometimes you do plan as a human being, but God plans for you. You understand? So I don't think it's a wise decision to make a commitment
as marriage
before you travel abroad, because you don't know what you're going to meet over there. You might think that lady that you have in Nigeria at the time is the best love of your life, until you travel and you see another girl, like, man, you lick all her legs to the toe. I'm telling you, you will be like, man, this girl, if you put her in the plate, I'm gonna chop her. Then the one that you had before, you will not be.
It might be temptation. You never know.
It might be temptation, but can you resist? For example, now this my friend I'm telling you now, you see, they had to call the marriage off, and he spent more than 10 years before he was able to get paper and go back to Nigeria.
Wow, can you imagine? He actually did a favor.
Did a favor to her.
Yeah.
Now he has spent life, in abroad, even get a girlfriend, have some kids with the girlfriend in abroad. But those children, he cannot take them back home. You know how abroad is. You see, if you don't have children with your kind, like I'm Igbo man, if I don't get married here to Igbo woman, for example, I get married to a Black American, you don't expect her to just hand me over the kids to go back to Igbo land where she don't know.
That's if you did it as girlfriend. I feel like if you go hold on. Let me explain. Because we do see a lot of marriages, especially women, that sometimes they like to marry outside of their race. You see them, the spouses go back to Nigeria, they even learn the language. So it's based on how you present yourself in front of the spouse that you want to get married to. Is he a girlfriend or are you actually marrying her?
I would totally disagree. I would say that's about 2%. I would say that's about 2% that you see.
Okay. And that's is it the fault of the woman or is the fault of the man? I believe that is the man.
Well, if you're going to, for example, to Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going over there, you see a girl, you pregnanted her, and she get a baby for you and stuff like that, and then she gave you papers, and then you stay, you live there as a family. Probably you eventually get married to her. You see that child, the girl has more grip on that child than you.
Wrong start. You just started wrong.
And I'm telling you, that's a majority. Even if you get married, even if you get married, like I have a friend here in US that you know that he get married to the lady and then they have a child and then later on he move on with another girlfriend. Do you think he's gonna get that child?
Look at what happened. You just explained it.
There's so many scenario, man. There's so many scenarios. I'm telling you, as a man, is 70% to 80% chance that you're not gonna get that child to stay in Igbo land to continue your heritage. It's abroad. It's a broad child.
Mm.
If you marry her, if you marry an Igbo girl here in America, you're sure that eventually the kids will come back, whether through by you or through their mother.
Mm.
You don't expect a Jamaican woman to born kids for you and dash it to you, and you go back to Igbo land, and eventually, if there's a things happen, if there's any separation issue or things happen, she will take the kids, and that will be so. That's
Mm.
this, my friend. That's what happened to him.
Mm.
Eventually, he had to go back to Nigeria and get married again.
Mm.
So if he would have left the first girlfriend, maybe if the girl would have stayed 10 years, maybe when he come back, he's not going to see the girl as attractive as he used to be. That's one thing. So I think the best thing to do is that if you have a girlfriend or a wife in Nigeria that you already started having kids with, that's the best idea.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in abroad, you're not going to waste your money.
Mm.
You know you have a family
Responsibilities.
responsibilities that so you bring in money, and if God bless you with a good wife, the woman will secure the money and they will see what you fall back, because a lot of us that is abroad, at the end of the day, we spend our money wow without no plan, and then there's nothing to fall back
Mm-hmm. Back home.
back home. So if you're already married, I think for me
Mm-hmm.
is the best idea to be already married and have kids before even venturing abroad.
Okay. And what about if you have, like I said before, what about for men, young men that they are not getting married in Nigeria, but they're traveling and they decide to just stay there?
Stay there forever or stay there that eventually they're gonna come back, because make it make sense.
Well, maybe the beginning at the beginning they thought that it's just gonna be like making money and come back, but then things happen and they fall in love, they got married, they have kids
It's good to fall in love, it's good to have kids,
with your Igbo person.
but I would highly suggest marry your own kind.
Okay.
I would highly suggest, if you're in abroad, if you're in America, England, whatever, wherever you find yourself, if you cannot marry your own kind, don't marry.
Oh, that's a very strong statement.
I'll tell you because you, for example, I'm Igbo person and we're very tribalistic people. We always go home. Wherever we find ourselves, we always go home. I
Mm,
don't want our family back home.
mm,
All we are trying to make in this life or this thing is to build something back home.
mm,
So if you're building all those things and you're doing all those your hustle, and you don't have anybody to hand it over to, which is your kids, my dear, you just labor in vain.
mm,
That's why you see some people, they here and abroad, they will have kids with American person, and at the end of the day, in their old age, they will fall back to Nigeria and get married again and start building a new family. The reason why is because he has looked at these kids that he has over here, they have no interest of Nigeria at all. And my dear, you know me. All my mind, I am here in America, all my heart is in Igbo land.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
You understand? So whatever I am doing, I want my kids to be there. Because that's wherever your wealth is, that's where your mind is going to be. Yeah. That's where I invested, that's where my wealth is, that's where my mind is, and that's what I want to pass over to my kids. So if I have kids over here that are not willing to come back, my dear, it will break my heart. That will eventually make me to go over there and start looking for a new stuff that will fall back, that I can say, you know what, this one is the one I'm sure of. So there's advantage and there's a disadvantage. But if I will advise anybody coming to abroad, get a family first, have 1 or 2 kids. Abroad will help you to train them, put them in a better school, give them a good life in Nigeria, in a good opportunity, stuff like that. Be able to provide, if the kids are riding bicycle, you can afford it, stuff like that. That will help you. But if you come abroad here thinking that, okay, and even if you want to come abroad, even if you want to come out, you don't want to have kids, know it that abroad is something that if you come, you don't know when you're going back.
Yeah.
It took, for example, how many years does it take me? Take me almost 20 years to get paper. Almost 20 years.
I mean, it wasn't like that, but
I mean, it wasn't like that, but to be able to achieve passport.
Let's just say that.
You understand? To be able to achieve passport. So it wasn't like, anyway, it wasn't, but abroad is something that you're going, you don't know when you're coming back, you don't know what you're going to meet, and sometimes you might say, okay, you know what, let me go make money, come back and get married, and the age will run over. Because as a young man, you're supposed to get married at least before you get to up to 30 years. You're supposed to get married. Sometimes you're in 30 and you're living abroad, say, let me go make money, and you will be there another 10, 15 years. Now, by the time you're coming back to get married, you're 45 years.
It happens to a lot.
It happens to a lot of people. You understand? So you make a plan as a man, you check your age, get married in Nigeria, start a family, go abroad, whatever. If a woman will manage with you until things will balance for you, that will be the perfect. That will be my, perfect advice.
So conclusion is that the best thing for a young man is to see how you can settle first in Nigeria, know the women that you want to marry, spend some time, have some kids, and then if the opportunity to travel abroad presents, then just go. Right? That's your advice.
That would be my advice.
Okay.
That would be my advice.
All right. So, guys, you hear it from Mr. Obi. Please also comment. Let us rub mind together. What would be your advice for a young man that wants to travel abroad? Leave the comments down below. Subscribe to Rubbing Minds TV and be part of our community that is not afraid to challenge ideas, share opinions at Rub Mind Together. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe, like, share also the videos. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will never miss an update from us. Let's get talking. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.